Hi beautiful, another day, another foundation review, and I'm pretty excited but also kind of skeptical about this one. We are going to be reviewing the new Hourglass Ambient Soft Glow Foundation today. And the reason I'm saying I'm a little bit skeptical about this one is because traditionally Hourglass foundations have not worked for my very dry skin, so we shall see. This one sounds promising, but then again, most of them do, don't they? So let's see what the claims of this foundation are and how it performs on my dry skin. It is currently 146. I'll try to do a 10-hour wear test on this and see how that goes. Take a look right here at the stunning packaging of this foundation. I got mine in shade 5. The foundation is now available at Sephora and the Hourglass website, and it retails for $58. I will of course have the links to this foundation down in the description box of the video, so definitely check them out down there. And I'll have the link to the Hourglass website and also the Sephora website. Usually when you shop from the brand, they always have some sort of incentive, so definitely check the Hourglass website because you might be able to get 10 to 15% off of it. This foundation is online only at Sephora right now, so I could not test it before grabbing it. I grabbed shade 5 because it was described as a light neutral foundation, so fingers crossed that it will actually work for me. They also came out with the Ambient Soft Glow Foundation brush for $47. I went ahead and skipped on that one, mainly because I didn't really even see it, but I would have skipped on it anyways because I am good on brushes. But just so you know, there is a brush that came out with it. I know a lot of people love Hourglass brushes, and so I'll have the link to that one down below as well if you guys want to check it out. So let's just go ahead and see what the claims of this foundation are. It says it is a vegan foundation with a natural finish, long wearing, cruelty-free, medium coverage, and a liquid formula. Of course, it is a weightless liquid foundation that delivers a buildable medium coverage with a light diffusing effect for up to 16 hours. It contains white tea extract, vitamin E, and antioxidants. It also has blurring spheres that minimize the look of imperfections, fine lines and wrinkles, and light diffusing pigments that deliver a natural soft focus finish to help protect against blue light. They're also claiming that the foundation feels weightless, which is amazing. I do not like heavy foundations on myself, so hopefully it actually feels weightless. They're saying it provides a smooth and even finish and that it has that soft focus effect. So let's see what shade number 5 looks like. I feel like it'll match, but I'm also a little scared because sometimes the frosted glasses make things look lighter than they are inside the bottle. Let me just pump some out. The formula is not too liquidy. It actually seems a little bit on the creamy side. I do think that this shade will work for me. And take a look right here at the swatch. It looks like it has a really good amount of coverage and a pretty natural finish. It's not necessarily too glowy. As per usual, I'm going to do half brush, half sponge to test it out. And the only issue I've had with Hourglass foundations in the past, and the reason that they're usually not my favorite, is because, like I said, I have very dry skin and they can sometimes look a little bit textured, a little bit too dry, or a little bit too thick on my skin. And I'm definitely interested in testing out how that applies to this foundation, if it happens at all. So I'm going to do one pump right there, and with the brush on this side I'm going to blend it out. Now, I didn't do a primer. This is a lot of coverage. That is one pump. I didn't do a primer like a pore blurring primer or any of that because I wanted to really see how the foundation wears on the skin. So all I have on my skin right now is my Magic Cream and my Magic Eye Rescue. Another thing that sometimes tends to happen to me with Hourglass foundations is that even though they say they have a neutral undertone, they are too warm, as you can clearly see. Here's the side with the brush, and I'm already not loving it. Sorry. I mean, you guys can see it. First of all, the color, a little too yellow. Second of all, look at all of that texture. You can see every single pore. My redness is not even fully covered. It blended weird on top of my nose. What is going on, right? But this is just applied with a brush. Maybe it's a sponge type of foundation. So I have a sponge right here. I'm going to grab a little bit less because That was a lot of coverage. And I'm going to blend it on this side of my face and hope that it looks better. I can already see the comments about how I applied too much. But this was one pump on this side and it actually took the whole pump. Usually the sponge does soak up a little bit more product. I would say though that this looks a lot better. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to blend this other side with the sponge as well, because I really didn't like the finish that the brush gave the foundation at all. I feel like this is already so much better. I lowered the light so that you guys can see. It was a little bit too bright, wasn't it? I'm sorry. I will not turn it back up all the way. So here is what it looks like with the light down. Much better after I blended it over with the sponge. I do want to see how it builds up, because as you can see, my rosacea is still pretty much coming through on my cheeks right here. But it doesn't look as bad as when I first put it on, for sure. Okay, lights back up, and I'm going to do a little bit more foundation. That was like half a pump, and I'm going to build it on my cheeks right here, and hopefully we will no longer see that much redness come through anymore. Foundation fully applied. Take a look right here. And with the light down, see now the redness is gone pretty much. And with the sponge application, even though my pores are not the most blurred per se, I do not see every single pore like I could before, for sure. So I'm pretty happy with this result, much happier than I was, for sure. Now this is my winter shade, I would say. It definitely is a little bit lighter than I am at the moment. So I will try to bronze this up quite a bit. But first I'm going to do a little bit of color corrector under my eyes. This is my Charlotte Tilbury color corrector in medium. Much better already, wow. I'm going to use my LYS concealer in LN3 right here and just blend that with my sponge. And I'm going to use my Laura Mercier Tone Up powder to set my under eyes and the center of my face with my Wayne Goss number 3 brush. I want to push a little bit of that powder right here where I could see my pores earlier to see if things start looking a little bit smoother. I really do not like being this pale. I cannot wait to get the bronzer out. So this is what things are looking like once I applied my concealer and a little bit of setting powder. And with the light down once again, I've been really loving my M Cosmetics bronzer lately. This is in the shade Slip, and it's perfect because it's cool toned enough that it kind of shapes your face, but it also gives me the color that I want. So I'm going to just use this one all around the face. See that color right there? I love it for my complexion. And I'm applying it using a REPHR number 5 brush. If you usually get the foundation shades that I get, I would definitely go higher on the Hourglass one, because this is not usually the way I like to look. I don't like to look this pale. So I would try a bit of a darker color for sure. But in the meantime, I'm just going to bronze everything up. Bronzer is life and you can't tell me otherwise. I'm going to use Shelly from Benefit on my cheeks because I've been obsessed with this brush lately. I can't stop using it, cannot put it down. And it'll add some more color to my face. Once the bronzer and blush are applied, this is what things are looking like right here. And I'm just lowering the light once again to show you what it looks like with the light down. When the light is down, my blush looks a lot, but I promise you it looks normal in real life. This is why we need the lights. So take a look right there. So far, it's okay. I don't think I am loving it. My pores look okay. They definitely don't look blurred. I can see them, but they're not like exaggerated like they were earlier. Now, what I'm feeling like right now is that this foundation might just be a little bit too dry for me. It has, I would say, a natural to matte finish, really. I don't really see a natural finish. It's more matte looking on my dry skin at least. So I'm liking it okay, but it's definitely not love at first sight for me. All I have to do left is I'm going to apply a little bit of highlighter because since things look a little bit more matte, I feel like I need it today. I'm just going to do a little bit of my Pillow Talk highlighter from Charlotte Tilbury, and I'm going to apply it with a sponge on the cheekbone and temple area. And this is what things are looking like right now. This right here is the beginning of my wear test, and I'm just going to go film another video, maybe edit a little bit of this one and whatnot, and I will see you guys in at least a couple of hours to start the updates. It's 3:51 I think right now. Last time I checked it was 3:51, so it's been 2 hours. Don't mind my moving boxes that are still not filled. Anyways, here is what it's looking like so far. 2 hours later, nothing has changed. I have not, oh my god. Okay, so I no longer recommend that LYS concealer. I look 80. God, that looks awful. Oh my god. Okay, this is not about the concealer. We are talking foundation today. Oh, things are looking dry. Things are looking real dry. Especially around my mouth area. I've had worse for sure, but that's definitely not looking great, and I still feel like it's just a little bit too matte. None of my rarely existing oils have come through. Around my mouth it's looking a little bit dry. I'm going to change my concealer at some point throughout the day and actually get to filming that other video that I was going to film today. So this is my 2-hour update, and I will see you guys later. 5:37 right now, so it's been roughly 4 hours since I first applied the foundation. I did go ahead and start recording that other video I was telling you about, so my eyes are now done, and the palette I am using, which is of course linked down below along with everything else on my face, is the Better Than Chocolate palette by Too Faced. I'm testing it out. I want to do 3 looks. This is just look number 1. Definitely keep an eye out for that video because I have a lot of thoughts on that palette already, but let's focus on the Hourglass foundation. Earlier, my little clip that I did downstairs on my phone, I feel like my phone can sometimes make things worse than they actually are in real life, because yes, the foundation still looks really matte, and yes, it has dried a little bit around my mouth area, but it's not as bad as it looked on camera earlier. So let me lower the light and show you with this camera what things are looking like, because I feel like the iPhone camera can sometimes enhance texture, and I don't like that. With the light down and all the way close to my face, take a look right here. So yes, it definitely looks a little bit matte and a little bit dry around my mouth area, but it doesn't have that crazy texture that I was looking at earlier on the camera downstairs. I did also fix my concealer. This is a different concealer that I put on now. So the LYS concealer creased like crazy today, so I went ahead and switched it to the Say Beauty concealer, and this is doing a lot better, as you can see. The foundation though, we are 4 hours in, and it pretty much looks very similar to the way it looked when I first put it on, which is not amazing on my skin in my opinion, but also not terrible. So I will see you guys in a few more hours for another check-in to see if we have any changes, but this is all I have so far. It is 12:15 now, so it's officially been a little bit over the 12 hours that I wanted to test this foundation for. It has not moved at all. I do see like a little bit of a glowiness coming through right now, but it's been 10 hours, so that is totally normal, and it looks pretty much, besides the teeny tiny bit of oil, it looks pretty much the way it looked when I first applied it. There's no blotchiness, nothing has come off. Everything that I put on top of the foundation still looks really beautiful and vibrant, and so in that sense, I do think that it is a great foundation. Now, because I have extremely dry skin, I did feel like the first 4 to 5 hours of wearing this foundation, it looked a little bit too matte for my personal taste. I feel like if you have normal skin, if you have combination skin, if you have oily skin, you'll probably absolutely love it, especially combination skin and oily skin. I think is going to really take advantage of this foundation, the oil control that this foundation provides, etc. I give it an 8 out of 10, but that is because my skin is desert dry, and on me personally, it just looked a little bit too dry the first few hours, especially around this area. Besides that, when I hear soft focus effect on a foundation, I imagine that the foundation is going to have maybe like a blurred finish to it, and I never saw that this foundation did much for my pores. It didn't enhance them. When I first tried it with the brush, I felt like my pores were enhanced, but after I put it on with the sponge, which was the method that I ended up preferring with the sponge, it looked amazing in my opinion. However, my pores never necessarily looked blurred. They also did not look enhanced anymore, but I could definitely see them. And I have other foundations that maybe have a bit more of a glowy finish, that maybe agree with my skin a little bit more, in which my pores do look a little bit more blurred when I first put it on. It's definitely not bad. It's not great if you have desert dry skin like mine. It definitely will not make you look glowy. You will look pretty matte most of the day. So it depends on your personal preference whether you'll like that or not. I'm giving it like an 8 out of 10 because it's not the ideal foundation for me. Now, I do feel like if your skin is anything other than dry and you prefer a soft matte finish to your foundation, I would definitely look into this one because it might be worth it. Now, another point that I wanted to touch upon was the weightlessness that the foundation mentioned in the description, and it is indeed a very weightless foundation. It applied nicely and evenly, and it never felt heavy or thick on my skin at all. So those are my overall thoughts on this foundation. If you are interested in it, definitely check out the links I'm leaving you down below in the description box. Remember, if you shop from the Hourglass website, they usually have incentives like 10 to 15% off at least you might be able to get, so definitely check it out. And that is all I have for today's video. If you guys like this foundation review, don't forget to give it a thumbs up before you leave. If you're interested in new makeup that comes out, if you like foundation reviews like this one, definitely don't leave without subscribing. I review a lot of the foundations that come out, especially when it comes to the high-end category. Sometimes we do dabble into some luxury, and sometimes we do dabble into some drugstore as well. Okay, I love you so much. Give the video a thumbs up, and thank you for watching. I hope to see you back in the next video. Bye.